we're still, the ASL wasn't showing. Oh, no, I just,
Even if they don't, they're just gonna use the captions and
okay. And I can point her to the spot, mark there. I can point them to the mark.
Yeah, yeah.
Here.
Is that the same right now?
right over your shoulder, buddy.
All right, whatever works.
Just don't put it on his shoulder, that would, okay.
Jelani? Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
What's that? Sure.
Is there an
That's,
actual?
yes, yeah.
Huh?
I'm having more room to go this way.
I mean, the lights are. Let's find out.
Is the intersection 34th and Portland that's blocked off. You can see there's the crowd right there. There are the numbers right there. There is still a huge crowd there. It looked like they had started to dwindle, but we still see a lot of people standing there. You see signs. I saw flags waving in the background earlier. The crime scene is down the block, not at that intersection.
You can see right here. There we
That's where
go,
the crime
SUV
scene is, in front of
involved.
a residential home. The SUV involved, and the woman, according to a witness that we heard earlier, the woman was taken out of the vehicle, laid down on the pavement, and then her body was taken away after that by medical authorities. So,
And from this scene here, it appears the car crashed into another car, because there are 3 vehicles, I believe, involved in this one we saw as far as that collision. So we don't know if she was going a certain direction and crashed into those cars, or if those cars were also involved in what happened here. But we do know we saw 3 cars that were collided from all this. We do have confirmed that the woman was fatally shot while inside that vehicle. As far as the other 2 vehicles, could have just been, a result of all of that happened. But that press conference expected to take place any minute now. It is officially 1:15. Looks like we have someone.
looks like they're doing a mic check perhaps at the podium to make sure everything is in order. And then, of course, reporters will be able to put their microphones on to make sure they have what they need. As this continues, the lights are being brought up at the podium. You can see we are with, it looks like the News Now reporters as we are talking to them, or is it our Fox affiliate? Either way, all of us are waiting for this press conference that was supposed to happen at the quarter hour. We are a minute or so past the quarter hour. And once again, what happens when something like this, when an incident like this, a fatal shooting that involves federal enforcement agents, is that everyone has to be briefed before they can brief the media.
Right.
And so they're making sure that they have everything they need before they can give us accurate information and answer the questions that we are going to have for the federal enforcement as they say the briefing was going to happen at 1.
Yeah, and that's the key there,
yeah.
that accurate information. We just mentioned the conflicting reports of what we heard happened from people who were there, but they're investigating for a reason to get the facts and then deliver those facts to the people who are wondering what happened here. It takes time, and that's the point of these briefings, these investigations, to make sure they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's and getting the facts, because a lot of people, especially the people who live here in the community, in this neighborhood that we're looking at right now, they want to know what happened, what led to this, especially when you take into consideration that a life was lost as a result of all of this, and that should never be the case.
Now we are now getting reports into our newsroom, and I alluded to this from our local affiliate's website, that the protesters or the crowd that has gathered is now starting to shout and berate federal officers and the officers that are on the scene, because at this point probably local, federal, state, everybody's probably on the scene of this fatal shooting. But it has been reported that crowds can be heard yelling, "Shame, shame, shame," and "ICE out of Minnesota." Among other things that we cannot air, I was told that they are starting to yell at enforcement agents. So it's a situation that is a powder keg that has imploded, to say the least. The crowds that are gathering have remained. The police that were there are remain. They may have dwindled in numbers, but there are still good numbers there. A lot of activity is still happening there. And as agents get deployed across the country in multiple cities, as this immigration crackdown continues, the situations are always very volatile. When you can see they're trying to prepare our camera for the podium, but the situation is always very volatile when you have protesters and law enforcement in the same situation, preparing for the same situation. And unfortunately, a woman has lost her life, and we will get the details on that as soon as this press conference happens. We'll take you there, but a woman has lost her life in this situation. And
the hope here is that the situation doesn't continue to escalate, right? We already had the deployment of the agents and officers. People, we have been outspoken of not being happy about their presence there. And then now you have the loss of a life. And now you wonder what happens next. But whatever happens next, hopefully they can get a hold of the situation. We do know there is still a crowd there. Like you mentioned, the crowd has dwindled, but now they are, shouting and making their voices heard after what unfortunately has taken place here. So hopefully the situation does not continue to escalate, especially when you consider that a life was already lost. Hopefully we get some clarity from this briefing that's supposed to happen any minute now. We just saw them setting up with the mics and lighting, but as that is happening, the people outside, they're not letting up. Again, they've dwindled in numbers, but they're still out there, along with police. A huge police presence remains there in that neighborhood as they continue to investigate. Those areas barricaded off. You can see the SUV in the top left corner of your screen. That is believed to be the vehicle the woman was inside of when all of this took place. Once again, we are hearing reports that the woman allegedly tried to ram her vehicle into an ICE agent. That ICE agent acting in self-defense, leading to that woman being fatally shot. So we are still waiting to hear more on what happened here. We know 3 vehicles were crashed right here on the scene. We're zooming in on the vehicle that the woman is believed to have been in. Now let's check in with our affiliate, our network Live Now, to see what the very latest that they have. Let's check in with Live Now.
Talking about that this was going to be their spot right now, as they were going to really crack down on immigration and as the administration has said, go after the worst of the worst, and knew that this was going to be a while, and said that they would be here as long as it takes. Obviously, our state leaders and senators and representatives kind of had talked about this, knew this was coming,
See some movement here now. You're watching this with us. This is from our chopper shot. We don't know if some of those vehicles being moved out of the area were at one time ICE agent vehicles. It's very possible. Corin Hoggard, our reporter on the scene who's on the ground, was telling us it appeared most of the personnel as far as ICE agents had left the area, but some of their vehicles were still behind. We did see a caravan of some of the ICE vehicles, what appeared to be the ICE vehicles, the typical black and white SUVs, going down the street at one point, leaving the area. That's where the one incident happened where we were on the ground with our camera and the protesters were trying to keep that ICE vehicle from leaving. But now you can see some of these vehicles if that was an ICE vehicle, looks like they're trying to clear that scene of those vehicles.
And it has been kind of hard to tell, obviously. This is an active situation, and we know that, not only here, but in other cities too, some of the ICE agents are using different cars, not rolling up in a squad car. So it's hard to know what exactly is what and who is with different agencies and the like. But clearly there is still a presence here at 34th and Portland, and will be for some time, even after people leave, even after people disperse. This is an active crime scene, not only here for obviously the city of Minneapolis, but federally.
Right.
And so this will definitely continue to be a crime scene and an active investigation for quite some time.
We can tell by what we've observed and what Corin Hoggard, our reporter on the scene, was able to observe on the ground, that it is now apparently the jurisdiction of the Minneapolis Police Department. And you can see that they have taped off this area. They have the temporary barriers there with the metal fencing, and you can see a line of officers there keeping the crowd from going down the street. But that is clearly, the investigation is now they're under their purvey, and they're the ones who will be looking into all of this and figuring out what happened. Again, we may get some more pieces to the puzzle with this news conference we're waiting on coming down any time now, we were told.
Now, once again, this is a fatal shooting between ICE agents and what's being called an observer in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You see that on the bottom right of your screen. Top left is we are awaiting a press conference that we were told was going to happen at the top of the hour and then at 1:15. But like we've been saying, that they have to get their information together and make sure they're all on the same page before they address the media. But one thing to say about history and perspective, situations like this can turn into something much bigger very quickly. I'll say two names. One, Rodney King. The second one, George Floyd.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that what happened with George Floyd, the death of George Floyd in 2020, with law enforcement, is about a mile away from where this situation is.
Just a heartbreaking reality for the community there. They had to deal with that. Now they have to deal with this. We do know when that situation happened with George Floyd, the death of George Floyd, protests erupted not only there in Minneapolis, but around the country.
Protests can really, and you can see that the crowd dwindled, and now the crowd is back, and it's getting bigger. And law enforcement, you can see they have a line. They have a line behind the barricade, behind the yellow tape. But people are still walking up, and the crowd is bigger than it was 15, 20 minutes ago. So we hope this doesn't erupt into something bigger or escalate into something bigger. Live now, our network is talking about tense moments that are happening between protesters.
And folks there at the scene started throwing objects at the cars and at officers. It looked from our vantage point that it started with snow and then potentially something else escalating. Presumably pepper spray was used at one point. We saw obviously our own crew was in the middle of all of that. Eventually it looked like people were kind of trying to barricade that car and trying to prevent it from leaving one of the alleys. It did get through, and that really was the only situation, at least that we have seen from the scene. Things have, all intents and purposes, calmed down, if you will, as far as tensions between those out there protesting and those law enforcement officials.
Right, and that's our observation right now. Again, just the rancor, the people yelling and shouting, very different from actually physically trying to get involved with the vehicle trying to remove itself from that area. Again, we're still waiting for you. We'll bring it to you as soon as we can. But the microphones are set up. They're ready to go. I'm sure they're still kind of going over what will be said, who will be saying it. There's a lot of obviously this is all happening in real time. There is no playbook for this. This is something that they've all been piecing together, and will hopefully share with all of us so that we can learn more information. But we do know that this is the largest operation of its kind. The administration saying that there would be 2,000 officers plus here, some under the guidance of trying to they were going to be taking part in the immigration enforcement. Others were also looking into, we reported, to some of the Somali issues and with possible fraud that's going on. Some 600 agents will be looking into that. And Kristi Noem saying that they would not leave the area until they had resolved these issues.
Homeland Security Secretary Noem just was involved in a different press conference out of Texas, but I do want to read what she said when she was asked about what happened here this morning. She says it was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them, those surrounding them, and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. She goes on to say an officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. My understanding, she says, is that she, the victim, was hit and is deceased. This goes to show the assaults on our ICE officers and law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We will continue to protect our ICE officers. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy more than 2,000 officers to the Minneapolis area. She says in the last 2 days, we have arrested hundreds of dangerous criminals. We're going to continue to do our work. The act like we saw today of using a vehicle to try to kill an officer and his colleagues is something that every politician, every elected official, everyone in this country should be able to rally around and say is wrong. Sanctuary cities, she says, and sanctuary states that protect individuals who do that should no longer be allowed. Domestic act of terrorism like this will not stand. Again, that is from Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem in reference to what happened here this morning.
And we know,
and you hear she just said, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem referring to ramming a vehicle into an ICE agent as a domestic act of terrorism and something that they, will not stand for. So it's interesting to hear, that being labeled that. But, they said that the ICE agent was acting in self-defense and that the woman inside that vehicle, that is what she was doing, attempting to ram the vehicle into an ICE agent, which, again, according to Kristi Noem, is a domestic act of terrorism. It's very serious, as she just mentioned.
Yeah, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. And we are, you see on the right side of your screen, we are waiting to see exactly what more information we'll get from the press conference that is supposed to happen within this hour, and exactly what they're going to say. And that was a very detailed statement from our Homeland Security. But she was talking about how she deployed this amount of troops and that it was a volatile situation. But an act of terrorism really puts a good label on it. And also mentioning the other incidents that involved into civil unrest. I only mention those to say that this is a volatile situation that could easily become something more. So I hope that they get a statement out and give us more information as soon as it becomes available. But that was very detailed from our Homeland Security Secretary to tell us exactly what's happening.
You hear them say this is the largest ICE enforcement operation of its kind. It gives you more of an idea of the gravity of the situation, not just them being deployed there, but to have protesters on the ground as a response. And not only that, but you kind of heard about the moments leading up to what unfortunately took place here, tense moments as they described it, with the protesters being there meeting with the ICE agents. We know that they said, they started throwing snow, that escalated, and they were throwing objects at the officers and their cars. And unfortunately, with this situation, we're hearing that the woman involved tried to ram her car into an ICE agent. So it just sounds like the situation continued to escalate. And unfortunately, now we have this, a woman who was fatally shot as a result. We are continuing to learn more. We do know part of those protesters, the Immigration Defense Network, were on the ground. That's about 90 plus nonprofit grassroots groups in the area there. They focus on rapid response and movement building strategies and coordination. So we do know they were a part of the protesters that were at the scene here. We do know there still continues to be a huge crowd right now as officers continue to investigate what happened. We know the crowd died down a bit, but we do know there's still a huge presence. And what you're taking a look at now, you can see this is a neighborhood where all of this happened. The roads have been blocked off. They mentioned that this is not a business area, it's a residential area. Businesses have not been impacted, but we've seen many homes in the area here where this unfortunately happened. And we again heard that this happened just a mile away from the George Floyd incident. And it's heartbreaking, but the hope here is that the situation does not escalate, because when you think about what happened with George Floyd and the protests that erupted, it wasn't just the day of the incident, but days after, weeks afterwards, nationwide protests. And a lot of those protests, unfortunately, became dangerous. And we hope that that does not happen, because, of course, we don't want to see more people losing their lives as a result.
Now, this is a different angle of the police situation in Minneapolis. It's the corner of 34th and Portland Avenue. We're looking down the avenue right now. You can still see very strong police presence. Back to a live scene, focused in on the vehicle. This is the vehicle, allegedly, that the woman was driving. We'll get more information with a press conference that we are awaiting. Multiple agencies and multiple individuals, from senators, congressmen and women, the mayor of the city to the governor of the state, have all released statements in opposition almost for some of them. There have been a lot of videos, which is interesting, the day and age that we live in. A lot of the people that are on the scene or were on the scene that experienced the yelling, the pepper spray, the throwing of snowballs that they have said de-escalated at this point, but did happen earlier. Many videos that have been released on social media. We cannot use those videos until we verify those videos. That's why you are not seeing them on our air, but we can report that these videos are being posted, and there are a lot of videos of what happened, from pepper spray to snowballs to crowds chanting things that we cannot put on the air. So it's a volatile situation. But like the local reporter from our Fox affiliate said on Fox Now, it's not what it was. They are just chanting at this point, and they said it had calmed down to the crowd just chanting at law enforcement. But law enforcement is remaining a police presence there, keeping that crowd at the intersection, because the actual incident happened down Portland Avenue a little ways. They cordoned off 32nd to 36th. The corner where we see the crowd, according to the local media, is 34th. So they're keeping people away from the crime scene, but there's still a crowd that is there.
There is, and we do know Governor Tim Walz has spoken out. He's asked people to remain calm after seeing everything that has unfolded there. So it is good to hear that, everything has died down a bit. We still have the crowd, but at this point, thankfully, there's no throwing items and whatnot that we saw earlier. That briefing is expected to get started any minute now. We see it appears officials are walking in the room now, so let's take you there live.
There's a lot of information that is swirling around right now, and we collectively are going to do everything possible to get to the bottom of this, to get justice, and to make sure that there is an investigation that is conducted in full. But what we do know is that a 37-year-old woman is dead and that she was shot by ICE. We've dreaded this moment since the early stages of this ICE presence in Minneapolis. Not only is this a concern that we've had internally, we've been talking about it. They are not here to cause safety in this city. What they are doing is not to provide safety in America. What they are doing is causing chaos and distrust. They're ripping families apart. They're sowing chaos on our streets. And in this case, quite literally killing people. So they are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is bullshit. This was an agent recklessly using power that resulted in somebody dying, getting killed. As soon as it happened and we learned of the incident, we had several priorities. The first, of course, was to get the victim to the hospital and to get care as soon as possible. To the family, I'm so deeply sorry. There's nothing that I can say right now that's going to make you or your relatives or the friends of the victim feel any better. There were, I believe, 2 Minneapolis police officers that responded and were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There were dozens, if not hundreds, of ICE and federal officers that were there at the time. Having them there was only causing more chaos. Having them there was only making a difficult situation even more problematic, and one that, yes, they created themselves. There's little I can say, again, that'll make this situation better, but I do have a message for our community, for our city, and I have a message for ICE. To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. Your stated reason for being in this city is to create...
All right, we have to break out of this press conference. That is the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Freed, and we apologize for the language that he is choosing to use in this very emotional situation, but we have to come out of that. That is not the kind of language we have on our air here at Fox 2 or any of the Fox stations around the country. It's a very emotional moment. You heard the mayor say that a woman has lost her life. At this situation, federal agents are involved, but we apologize for the language that the mayor, Jacob Freed of Minneapolis, is using as he continues to speak on the situation. He says that the woman was taken away from the scene where the incident happened. If we go back to those live pictures, maybe we can have that to look at. But the federal agents were interesting that the federal agents were immediately removed, he said, from the scene. So local state agents are probably what we are seeing right now on the ground in Minneapolis, in South Minneapolis, in the situation where a woman allegedly was rammed into or attempting to ram into ICE agents as they were in a neighborhood, not a commercial area, in a neighborhood in Minneapolis at Portland Avenue, just at 34th Street. The agents were, according to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, they were defending their lives, opened fire. One of the agents opened fire on the woman in her car, striking the woman, fatally killing the woman, and she was removed from the scene. Now, this situation is happening right now in real time in Minneapolis, South Minneapolis area, but we'll have a lot more information as it becomes available. You can see this is the woman's car who was fatally shot in this police ICE incident, law enforcement incident that has escalated in the city of Minneapolis, specifically South Minneapolis. There is a crowd that has gathered. They are yelling, chanting at agents, at police enforcement that is now on the scene. And there is a press conference that's happening that we will give you all the information for. Thank you for sticking with us. Stick with us on Fox Local online as well. Make sure you check in. We'll continue coverage there. But for now, thanks for sticking with us right here on Fox 2 News. And make sure you check us out on Fox Local to continue with the coverage of this story in Minneapolis. I'm Lee Thomas.
Off. At least 2 shots were fired. The vehicle then crashed on the side of the roadway. Minneapolis police officers secured the crime scene and assisted in trying to preserve the evidence that is there. We have since turned over the scene both to the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, which will be conducting an investigation into this use of deadly force. I want to thank the mayor, city council president, other members of the city council, state legislators that were on the scene. This has been a very difficult time for everyone in the city. And this is obviously a very, very tragic situation where a woman has lost her life. That being said, in addition to this tragedy, which unfortunately we did predict, we were seriously concerned about further escalation from the scene. I want to thank the elected officials that came themselves to help us prevent that from happening, as well as the individuals on that scene that remained peaceful and that abided by law enforcement instructions so that we could preserve that scene and ensure that a full and transparent investigation can take place. That being said, I just echo the mayor's comments that we ask that the community continue to call for peace. We understand people are going to be upset about what happened, and people are going to want to exercise their First Amendment rights. But please do so safely and lawfully to ensure that we do not have any further tragedy in this city or destruction. Thank you.
Chief, thank you, Sheriff, thank you, council members. I'll open it to questions.
Any idea on the identity of the ICE officer who fired those guns at this point?
I don't have that information, no. The question was, is there an identity of the ICE officer that fired? I do not have that.
Mayor Farber, during the ICE officer stopped a physician from helping the lady who was shot. Is that true? We've seen video, it's all over social media, that someone tried to help this lady, and they were pointed guns at and told to get away. Do you know about that at all?
So the question was, there's information out there that people tried to help the woman that was shot, and ICE officers that pointed guns at them and told them to leave. I do not have that information. I myself saw a video of the shots being fired as the car was driving away. What I can tell you is the narrative that this was just done in self-defense is a garbage narrative. That is not true. It has no truth. And it needs to be stated very clearly, since we have already seen a video of it. I do not know as to what you're talking
So
about.
Mayor, she wasn't driving,
protocol?
she wasn't driving the car toward him, using her vehicle as a weapon?
That does not appear to be the case at all.
What's the city's protocol when an observer or an activist calls 911? They say an agent's following them or an agent's pointing a gun at them. How does the city of Minneapolis handle that situation going forward, considering what just happened today?
Repeat it one more time. I missed the first part of what you said. I'll turn it over to the chief.
What does the city do when someone calls 911 and a federal agent's pointing a gun at them, that sort of thing?
I'll turn it over to the chief. The question is, what does someone do when a federal agent is pointing a gun at them? Chief.
So, if I heard you correctly, the question is about when people call 911,
Yes.
what is the city's protocol
Yes, yes.
in these situations? We've had a very dramatic increase in 911 calls related to this activity. We have a protocol in place that has been evolving as the situation has been changing. And at this time, there is a designated supervisor that is on duty 24/7 that fields those calls. And we do everything that we can to ensure that they are appropriately prioritized, with the priority being placed upon the protection of life and safety of everyone in the community.
Can you tell us any more about the woman who was fatally shot? Was she there as a legal observer, protester, bystander? What do you know that you can share?
So the question was, what can I share about the deceased? There is nothing to indicate that this woman was the target of any law enforcement investigation or activity. This woman was in her car, and it appears then blocking the street because of the presence of federal law enforcement, which is obviously something that has been happening not just in Minneapolis, but around the country. She appears to be a middle-aged white woman.
Chief, just about a month ago, you said these unplanned and questionable tactics by federal agents would result in someone being killed at a press conference right here. Do you consider today's tactics in line with that, or do you just have a generic response to the fact that somebody is now dead?
The question is that I had previously made several statements about being concerned about the tactics being employed. I am obviously very concerned that I have been told that a woman who was sitting in her car blocking the street and not the target of any enforcement activity is now deceased. However, I do not know, to be clear, I do not know the exact circumstances of the shooting, but I would tell you, in any professional law enforcement agency in the country, I think they would tell you it's obviously very concerning whenever there's a shooting into a vehicle of someone who's not armed. But it also is something that is possible. At times, it is justified. But it is very concerning, and it's something that most law enforcement agencies in the country train very intensely to try and minimize the risk that law enforcement officers get placed into a situation that the need for deadly force would be necessary.
Has there been any indication of that need in this case?
I didn't hear the question.
Has there
sorry.
been any indication of the need to shoot into the vehicle?
The question was any indication about the need. I guess getting back to the justification of this, I have not seen any information other than what I have.
Chief, was she alone in the car? Were there children in the car with her?
The question was if she was alone in the car. I know that I got there shortly after this call came in. I did not see anyone else with her while I was on the scene. However, I've since been told by our officers that have been with her the entire time that a spouse has arrived at the hospital.
Mayor, just curious if you're thinking about contacting federal authorities to register your concerns about this, I mean, personally making phone calls, et cetera.
Yes, we've been on the phone all morning. As soon as we learned about this, again, there were a series of priorities that we needed to go through. The first, of course, is to keep people safe and to help the victim in any way that we could. The second was to get ICE off of the scene. There was the notion that ICE agents would be necessary to create a perimeter around the scene itself. They themselves were creating the kind of dysfunction and chaos that they claimed to be trying to help with. And so the message that we delivered very clearly was to make them leave. Now, beyond leaving the scene, they should also leave our city and our state. You know, we do work, our chief does work, our sheriff does work every single day to keep people safe in our city and in our state. And crime is dramatically down. Crime is down. It continues to trend down. They are doing the hard work of investigating, of arresting perpetrators of violent crime. What this federal administration is doing right now is not about creating safety. Do not let them tell you that what they are doing is about creating safety. It is not. It is having the opposite impact. We need to be clear-eyed about the work that is moving forward, and they need to leave Minneapolis.
We have time for one or two more questions.
Mayor, you may know this with your legal background. If the shooting is found to not be justified, does the city have any legal, or the state rather, have any legal recourse to bring charges against this ICE agent, given that this person is a federal agent, if the feds don't?
So, obviously, and I have to always lead with this caveat because it is true, an investigation still does need to be conducted. I had my perception of what took place based on the vehicle and the vehicle's positioning. It does not appear that the individual is trying to ram anybody. Now, the question was, if it is in fact found to be an unjustified shooting, who issues the charge, who prosecutes, how does justice take place? I don't know the answer in full to that. This is obviously information that we're still working out. Chief, do you have any additional information, or Commissioner?
The only thing I would add to the mayor's statement is that the crime scene was held by the Minneapolis Police Department, and the investigation is now being led jointly by the Federal Bureau of Investigation as well as the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. And the purpose of their involvement would be to investigate whether any state laws within the state of Minnesota have been violated.
One more
Can
question.
I just add something to that too?
Oh, sorry, sir.
What's very important is that for our communities, that we do have some kind of part in this investigation. It needs to be done on a local level. With all due respect to the federal level, we do need to make sure that our local agencies are involved. Most certainly the BCA is very well capable of working with our federal partners in doing so. That is something that is needed for our communities, and so that's something that I can tell you that there's already been conversations from the U.S. Attorney's Office to the BCA that have already taken place today. How that's going to roll out, we don't know yet, but we are making sure that there is some kind of local entity namely the BCA, that has a part in this investigation for the purposes of transparency and expedient transparency as to what happened today.
One more. Okay, if that's it. Thank
So,
you, everybody.
Final,
Yeah,
again, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you to the media for being here and disseminating this very important information around this tragic incident. To reiterate a final message to our community members, I understand the anger. Let's unite around hope and love and peace and getting justice. That's what we need to be doing right now. I appreciate the service from everybody up here as well as the 435,000 people that call Minneapolis home. Thank you.
Got some housekeeping for you in just a moment after everyone leaves. Okay, so all media questions, first of all, I'm Scott Wasserman, I'm the Communications Director at the city. All media questions should go to communications@minneapolismn, like Minnesota, communications@minneapolismn.gov. There was a question earlier about what happens when you call 911. We have some information on our website, minneapolismn.gov/federal. minneapolismn.gov/federal. And then I'll
that are against God's people. No one can defeat us. We are. Helpless people, they're shooting unarmed people. We are!
Just show them the video.
We're the most beautiful and loved in this community, in this world. They're trying to rob our future. They're trying to rob our children's future. We have to stand united because we are
one.
We are
one.
One.
They go to the scene, they film, they whistle, they call attention to that immigration rate so that community members who live in the area can know for certain that
one.
Stay safe, stay
one.
Keep their community
one.
One of those icebergs
one.
saying that a fellow say that definitively. That is only what has been told by
Stand down. Stand down. Our peace is our saving weapon. Our peace. Our peace.
Anybody know which building they raided?
I don't know.
Street down this way, right?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
What is your question?
Do you know which building ICE raided?
What building or what house? In this building.
When I say immigrants, you say matter.
Amazon kids coming.
put up with ICE. Immigrants are welcome here. We will not put up with ICE. 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 Immigrants are welcome here. 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 Chinga la migra. 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 When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. When immigrants are under attack, what do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Stand up, fight back. 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 Chinga la migra. 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 Chinga la migra.
Your mother's longing for you at home.